Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of mine. This time I'm back with Heaven's Secret Season 3, Episode 4. I am just so excited. Let's go. Cain and Abel. Episode 4, Confession. Snow crumbled from the roof and then powerful white wings struck down the immortal standing behind me. This man just arrived in order to be savage with us, and Cain said, I'm not even allowing a second for this man to be with you alone. The two entangled figures crashed onto the piano, not the piano, which collapsed under the pressure with a jarring clang. I'm sorry, I can't with the reference to the piano. We all know, yeah, period, Cain said, ain't no fucking way. I love him. I love him with such a burning passion. But I hate the fact that they destroyed the piano. Like, I have a soft spot for the piano. Stepping back against the wall, I peered through the swirling snowstorm. Cain was pressing the other angel's face into the piano's shattered lid with his boot. Damn! Well, damn. He said he ain't playing. His eyes are red as well. Who are you? Why can't I feel your energy? He's an experiment, so I don't think that he even has an angelic aura, even though he looks like one, because he's not a born angel or a born immortal. Wheezing beneath the wreckage, the unknown immortal was unable to fight back. His body lay limp on the debris and trembled occasionally. I mean, of course he wouldn't be capable to fight back either, because considering the fact that he possibly only has body parts that turned him into an immortal, he is still mostly human, if he was human to begin with. So a real immortal, like a born angel or a born demon, they are more powerful. Oh my god, he actually is about to murder him. Oh my god. Cain leaned down and jerked the stranger's head back, grabbing him roughly by the hair. The moment he touched the immortal, an uncontrollable surge of energy burst out of him. What's happening? Recoiling, he hunched over as he clutched his temples and tried to restrain the flow. Why do you have my power? I can feel it. It belongs to me. What? I'm sorry, what? What do you mean he has your power? Are we actually getting some intel about Cain? Because I did think that perhaps he was an experiment, but then it was dismissed because he said that he has an immortal as a brother. So I assumed that it was just an idea of mine, and that it was just wishful thinking. But if he says, why do you have my power? How could someone just have someone else's power if it hasn't been taken from them? Who the hell are you? Grabbing the angel by his shirt collar, Cain yanked him up and fell silent, staring into his eyes. Are they brothers? Their reaction speaks for itself. But yeah, y'all, let's just ignore. We're gonna ignore this. It can't be. This is impossible. Okay, what kind of voice am I giving him? Cain? Cain didn't answer, continuing to stare at the immortal in shock. The latter suddenly gave a brief smile and stepped closer, embracing his arms for an embrace. Oh my god, how cute! Then he froze. Cain's hand was at his neck, fingers tightening around his brother's pale skin. Oh my god, no! So it's actually his brother? Honestly, I figured he was dead. My bad. Abel's arms fell weakly. There was no trace of anger in his gaze, only genuine surprise. Where is Mother, Cain? Where's my power within you? Oh my god, what the fuck? Y'all, do you not remember what we both wanted to do? Cain tightened his grip. Oh my god, so he's the red sheep of the family too? Y'all, I can't even, what is happening? His eyes glowed red, his jaw was clenched, and his lips twitched off and on from uncontrollable rage. Sir, don't kill him. I don't think he could forgive himself if he actually kills him. Because I remember what this man was struggling with when he learned that he almost killed us in the church. Don't pretend you don't understand. Oh my god. Why are you angry? Aren't you happy to see me? Gasping and struggling to lift his hand, Abel tried to remove his brother's fingers from his throat. At his touch, Cain withdrew in disgust. Ooh, there's some bad blood. You've grown too. Where have you been all this time? This man actually seems to have positive memories about Cain. But how come Cain only has negative ones? Has his brother been living in denial? Thinking that everything was fine when in reality Cain was struggling? Or what is this? And what happened that day? That day when... Did you forget that I'm here? But by all means, continue. Ooh? Ooh? Oh my god, thank you. Thank you, Lord. Heavens, the past. Oh my god, I am dead. Illness entered our home. I always thought it had spread to us through our mother's sorrow. Her dark, tragic grave courting everything around, infecting us with unending sadness. Why do I have the feeling that I know her? She gazed blankly out the window, her thin, emotionless lips always slightly pressed together in silent torment, remained taut at the moment even then. She didn't care about what was happening. Mother lived in memories and hopes, and if she really wasn't there, she just left her shell with us and had long since gone elsewhere. Oh my god, he looks so cute. Sorry. The outfit. Do you think Mother still hopes that Father will return? Oh my god, not that story again. Oh, yo, I'm sorry, but why are they so fluffy? They are so cute. That's unlikely. He deserted us when you were only just born. Well then, he's a bitch. Moving on. I thought I saw a flicker of coldness in his eyes. It was the same look Mother often gave me. The fuck? Yeah, she's blaming him. Well, I'd always resembled her more, and I didn't know who to whom I owned my futures. He could have come back at least once if he wanted to, but he hasn't, so he doesn't. Even Mother doesn't speak of him, so don't bring it up. Abel always smiled at me in a way that was sickly sweet. It made me nauseous, his condescending way of speaking to me. Condescending? He looked down on Cain? Or did he just view it as him looking down on him? But since I'm the type of person to say, we're not dramatic, we just react to how we feel, and we all have a different way of taking things in. Even if you don't actually mean any harm with what you're saying, it hurt us. So if you don't feel the need to make up for something, even if you didn't mean anything by it, your words or your behavior hurt someone you care about. And if you're too ignorant to try to fix things or make amends, it leaves still a mark on the person involved, on the person that got hurt. So you can't be mad, nor shouldn't you have the audacity to say something negative about him or her if they decide to behave in a certain way because of your hurtful behavior. So I'm gonna be on Cain's side. I hate it the most. I'm sorry, who wouldn't hate being looked down on, especially by family, hello? But I thought that was how all older brothers behaved. The moment Abel approached Mother, she suddenly became animated. Right. Now you're back so soon. The lessons were postponed because of the downpour. Not everyone has mastered their abilities yet, and our teacher didn't want anything to happen. That's for the others. You, however, could have stayed. Aren't you better at controlling your energy than the rest? Not always. Then you're not practicing enough. Don't disappoint me, Abel. Damn. So Abel has been taking in all the expectations of the sick mama. And instead of being capable to find a good way or a healthy way to let go of the frustration that his mother's pressure was putting on him, he let it out on CAIN. I stood silently in the shadows of the doorway watching the conversation. And how about you, CAIN? The usual. I was helping with the old books. Dad, you might as well have said outright that since I have no powers, she expects nothing from me. No powers. No powers. So he was like or MC, being an empty vessel, being capable to absorb the power of someone else. So maybe without realizing it, he absorbed his brother's powers. When you don't feel the warmth of your loved ones, when you see them avoiding you, you have questions. What's wrong with me? Did I do something bad? Why was I born this way? My gaze fell on Abel, who had just released a bright energy sphere right in front of Mother. Why were other mortals so lucky? Feeling defective, broken, and different since the moment of my birth, I often wondered what had gone wrong. Perhaps my very existence was so unwanted that it came about against all odds. This shattered something within me. I was empty. I had no power, not even the smallest, most useless kind. Damn! What is this? Mother suddenly grabbed Abel's arm, examining the dark spots on his skin. There are more of them. You said the illness was fading. It was. Huh? Laurel and I were afflicted by something unknown. Our bodies were being slowly covered by dark patches. CAIN knows them too, even worse. The illness is progressing. We can't wait any longer. Something must be done. Mother woke us late in the night. We put on our cloaks and followed her into the unknown. She led us to an old building on the outskirts of the city. We climbed a creaky staircase to the top floor and found ourselves in a tiny room with nothing but a window and two beds. There was a knock at the door. Fast, you're here. What the fuck, who are you? What else could I do when you kept haunting my doorstep? People were starting to notice. Alright, don't waste my time. Lie down on the beds, I'll examine you. We obediently took our places. The old angel checked our arms, inspecting and feeling the darkened spots. They don't hurt, but they're spreading all over. How bad is it? It's hard to say. It seems both of them are fading away. Sometimes our eternal state manifests in this way. But what can I do? They need a healer. We've seen all the healers, and no one knows the cause. Perhaps your spells could help? Spells? They're not some kind of magic cure. Is there really nothing you can do? Fast looked at us again, let out a heavy sigh, and then fell into thought. Only one thing comes to mind, but not everyone can endure it. Tell me. Let's step outside. They left the room. Quiet whispers were punctuated by long pauses of contemplation. Abel suddenly sat up and lightly punched my shoulder. Don't worry, there's always a solution. This illness shall pass too, and for everything else, I'll protect you. As if I couldn't handle it without you. Alright, I know I'm the dark path, but I want to say this because, especially when you're extremely vulnerable, and you have someone that is going through the exact same thing as you are, so they understand what you're going through and what you're struggling with. He says he would protect us. Why not say if anything happens, we'll fight together? Abel raised a skeptical brow and we both chuckled softly. No, that's so cute. The doors reopened. Mother's impassive mask was even more taut than usual. One wrong move and it was shattered. Just close your eyes and join hands. You're about to descend into your own consciousness. I was ashamed that Abel could feel me trembling. His grip remained warm and steady. and the monotone voice thought began reciting lines comprehensible only to him. They echoed within me, sinking deep into my body. Oh my god. But this looks so cool. I didn't even notice how I ended up inside myself following them. Looking around, I saw my brother standing with his back to me. Abel. I barely took a step before someone else's thoughts crashed into me. A stream of consciousness rushed past, knocking me off my feet with its deafening intensity. This won't work. We're doomed. These lessons are exhausting. It's already clear that I've outgrown my teacher. He simply doesn't know what to do with me. CAIN always watches us from afar, as if he avoids mothering me. Abel? A slight tremor ran through me. I wanted to cover my ears from the invading thoughts. Oh, it's kind of like their thoughts are melting. Trying to get out, I suddenly began to feel what was happening in the room. I'm sure they can hear us. They shouldn't. The boys have sunk deep into their subconsciousness. And this will definitely work. How do we know that the needed power will transfer to the right one? For safer sake, calm down. Into the right one? I was stunned by this. I didn't know if Abel had heard the conversation, but I was certain he could see it in my thoughts. I guess different spells for the boys. The one for the child meant to receive the power was stronger. He let out a heavy sigh. To have to choose between two children like this, I don't even want to imagine how hard it must be for you. No, it's not bad at all. So, if you ask me, they all thought because CAIN didn't have any powers, because he never showed any capabilities, that they assumed that he didn't have any, and that meant that Abel was stronger. So, in their mind, they thought that whatever power, or let's go with energy, was left in CAIN's body, as in the energy that he needs in order to still be alive, would be transferred into Abel. That way, he would be stronger because they assumed that they were too weak, and therefore one needed to, if they were stronger, they would survive. So, the mother's plan was to have CAIN's entire power transfer into Abel. What she didn't think so that she would survive and CAIN, so that Abel would survive and CAIN would die. What she didn't take into consideration was that CAIN is actually stronger than Abel. So when this transfer was supposed to happen, instead of the energy and power to go into Abel, some of Abel's energy went into CAIN. You're right, it's better to give at least one of them a good life rather than let both wither away. I'm dead. One. Yeah, she wanted to kill you. I wanted to scream, to kick the bed, to shake off the haze, to stop that tormenting helplessness, but I was trapped inside my own mind. My body wouldn't obey, it had become a cage. Of course, Abel can hear me. Together we'll come up with something. Nah. I ran up to him, but my brother didn't react. He seemed unwilling to speak to me. Abel? Mother's struggling, she's suffering. CAIN is like a thorn in her side. Wow. So that's when he heard what he truly thought of him, so he was just pretending. She used to smile all the time my father was around. I am dead. Actually seeing this, how this man is slowly like dying or something, is actually breaking me. This is also a nice metaphor to show how someone is slowly dying. I never had much, so since he doesn't necessarily have any powers, there's nothing he can train. So while Abel had all the time in the world to make friends or to show off his great power, CAIN was always left aside, thrown aside, as if he's not worth anything. So I would understand why he's now mad. He heard everything this man truly thought about him, because his subconsciousness was actually open for everything, the good and the bad. And then something drove us to sin, and as the result he appeared, his physical embodiment endlessly reminding her of her fleeting fall, of her betrayal. Y'all, this is actually breaking me. I can't see this anymore. His existence destroyed a family's life. Maybe if it disappears, things will get better. You can fucking choke, Abel. You looked so cute. I'm so fucking upset with you right now. Someone murder him. By all means, CAIN, murder him. I'm all in for it. In the present, look at this. Look at this. Why do I have to look at this? How strange the world was. The revelation that my brother had only ever pretended to be supportive wasn't news to me. Yet until the very end, I wanted to believe he was glad to have me. Yeah. Why? Because CAIN is a fucking god. He's actually pure-hearted. And I did say that. When you are extremely pure-hearted, all the negativity hits you even worse. And when someone isn't as sensitive and isn't that connected to their emotions, it doesn't hit them as much. So it doesn't have such a negative impact on them in the future. This is so fucked up. I hate this. Abel's thoughts rushed on, but I no longer tried to reach him. Sickening the way you all played at being a family, you pretending to be a caring brother, and mother trying to hide a sin. But somewhere deep down at the very root, my thoughts were entirely different. Everything Abel said is true. I'm a mistake, and mistakes need to be corrected. Yeah, of course, because if I got no one left, why would I want to stay alive? I would be fine dying. But I would be way too fucking proud to allow someone else to get my powers if I would be in CAIN's position. I would have rather killed myself, but not give you the satisfaction that you can survive. Like, you can die for all I care later on, but you sure as hell are not getting my power so that you can survive and I will die. Just so that the Wonder Son will survive. And the audacity that in the present he was still asking about them. Yo, I'm so fucking mad. I have nowhere to go back to. But I will take the last remnants of my life force and I'll simply fall asleep. No, fucking hell no. Anything is better than feeling this awful pain in my chest. Of course. Why wouldn't he grow numb? Why wouldn't he feel the need to stay away from everything and everyone? Again, the first people that hurt you is family. That's the first trauma, the first heartache you get. It's from family. Then it's friendship love and then romantic love. But it's always the family that starts first. They either give you abandonment issues, trust issues. It don't matter. But the more you carry on in life, the more issues you get, the more trauma you absorb. Hands closed around Abel's neck. He was still standing with his back to me, unresponsive. What am I doing? Despite my thoughts, my body wanted to fight. No matter what I said, I desperately didn't want to die. I want to live and see what the repaired book will look like when I finish it. I want to wake up once more and see Abel's unmade bed and mother's lonely figure by the window. Why did someone decide I don't deserve that? Why do they think they could just take it from me? Ooh, I love this. So he was capable to survive not necessarily because of his physical strength, but because of his mental strength. Ooh, that's even more powerful. The more I thought, the tighter my hands clenched around his neck. Abel reached up, making a weak attempt to defend himself. Unrelenting, I pressed harder. As my brother's consciousness crumbled, so did mine. Bright energy began leaving his body, seeping into my veins, burrowing under my skin. Ooh, I love it. Honestly, karma. Karma. Twisting it darkened, turning into something red, unstable, and jagged, holding back the pain I endured, the tearing sensation. Only after draining Abel completely did I rip my hands away and suddenly woke up. Oh my god, I'm so dead. I'm so fucking dead. I don't understand. Something is wrong. Why doesn't it work? Where are my nuts? Wrangler rummaging through his pockets, he rushed out the window searching for something. Breathless with anxiety, I looked at the beds beside me. Mother was sitting over my brother, his arm hanging lifelessly off the edge. Seeing her fading son, she looked at me with fearing content, silently asking, "Why was it you who woke up?" Unable to say anything, I reached out to Abel, desperately wanting to make him awaken. My mother recoiled from me in horror, dragging Abel's body farther away. Lips trembled, she whispered, "What the fuck? Did you kill him just to spite me? You always do everything to spite me. Bitch, you fucking need to die. Like, honestly, leave." Why do you even want to live? There isn't a single person in this world who loves you. Exactly. Thanks to your sorry ass, but just because family wasn't capable to love me doesn't mean that there is no one out there that will love me. Oh, I was in the place that CAIN was, let me tell you. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh god, he having a mental breakdown. I feel so bad for this man. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. The control corrupted energy burst out of my body and began to consume me. It transformed into something terrifying, cursed. Its deadly tendrils reached from my mother, fulfilling my hidden will. They acted beyond my control against me. Racked with pain, I watched the energy pour from me and choked mother, slowly draining her strength. Honestly, I really want to stop. Honestly, I don't, but whatever. Both those overlapped, making it difficult to understand what I felt, whether I truly wanted to stop. Dying mother looked at me with hatred, never begging for salvation. She can die, she can choke, bye. It was as if she was saying her only son had died and she was ready to follow him, ready to leave me. Honestly, I could care less. About her dying, I could actually care less because she just showed on multiple occasions that she could literally care less. And who am I to actually stand here and allow you the satisfaction of breaking me? Forget it. A flash of energy engulfed the room, illuminating it as if it were daylight for a brief moment. Then the light faded, sinking back into my skin. Mother's and Apple's bodies lay still. I had no intention of killing them, yet I had done it with my own hands. Fleeing the room, I ran through the outskirts of the city. I wanted to disappear, to be lost. Tripping over branches tangled in thoughts and fears, I kept glancing back, scared of pursuit. I wanted to return home and lie down, hoping it had all been a bad dream. But I knew Faust would return, so he would have questions, so I never stopped. I don't remember how long I wandered before Paul found me. Even in the princeton's heavens, there are places that are filthy, dark, and rotten. He took me in, promising me freedom. That day I looked for the last time at the light which had rejected me and stepped with him into the darkness. You see, when you don't really have something that keeps you to the light, you prefer to welcome the darkness. Because you also, especially if you are a teenager slowly walking into adulthood, you don't know who you are and you're trying to figure out who you are and where you belong in the world. Like who you are meant to be, what you're supposed to accomplish in it. So if you weren't capable to find your place in the world of the living, to put an example in here, maybe you could find it in the world of the dead. And this is what this man did. It was like, I was such a good guy. I always held on to hope. Always wanted to believe that there is someone out there waiting for me, like in the light, like in heaven. But even with my dying breath, they actually had the intention of killing me. They did not care about me dying, about something happening to me. They just wanted to save each other. And when you were dying, you still did not give a damn about me, didn't even want to beg for mercy, because in your eyes, your life had no meaning anymore, because the only person you care about was dead. Thank you for that. I don't need that anymore. I don't need you. Bye. Now I'm leaving, trying to find my own way. Since then, the enemy has always been near. I get his frustration, I get his hatred. But if you ask me, I would mostly feel offended and hurt by the mother. Because it's kind of like she encouraged such a behavior. If I, as the oldest child, keep on getting compliments that my mother keeps on highlighting how beautiful I am and how much my brother sucks. If I grow up like that, sooner or later, I actually believe it, and I'm happy when my sibling then gets the short end of the stick, because that means more accomplishments, more positive moments for me. I could care less if the other person is suffering, because I'm not used to anything else. And when I then grow up and find out who I truly am, and I'm actually more sensitive than I assumed back in the day, then I will feel remorse for the way I acted. Amazing. All this time we were connected, I felt you discontent, your desires. It deceived you. But I'm glad you didn't manage to get rid of me completely. Ha. CAIN looked at his brother and shook. Having been inside your emotions all this time, I've come to understand you better. Abel, with all love and concern, if you don't want to die, you should shut up. Well, one CAIN, the same blood flows within us. Sir, that does not make us the same person. Me? CAIN? What nonsense. Oh, you're spouting. You should have died. Because of you, my mind is splitting. All this time you clung to life and made me suffer. He wasn't hiding. Abel is Donovan's project. Some immortal handed his body over for experiments. All these years, he wasn't conscious, but recently something changed. It doesn't matter what saved him. The very thought of him being here disgusts me. If you all want to know what I think about this, he's not disgusted by him at all. He's hurt. Because he had pure, in other words, real love for Abel. And finding out that this man never gave a damn about him at all, it hurt him deeply. To the point where he just doesn't want to see him, because seeing him brings bad, hurtful memories. And since he didn't want to heal from that awful moment, because every single time he uses his powers, it reminds him of his brother, he grew bitter when it came to his topic. So his reaction, first off, is actually relatable. But he's not disgusted by him, he's actually hurt. And he grew bitter over time. Realizing CAIN wouldn't calm down until his brother was gone, I interrupted him. Sir, please, Donovan needs Abel. And first, we need to figure out exactly why. Mona, he's like, do not. CAIN didn't have time to finish speaking. We heard the distant sound of flapping wings and the hum of a car engines approaching. I should have guessed they'd started looking for me in the same place they found me before. Grabbing the spear thrown by CAIN, I pressed myself against the wall and peeked outside. We need to leave quickly. They must not find us. I'll explain everything later. We're heading for our own people now. They're not my people no more. What are you talking about? Yes. CAIN's hands glowed red, energy streaming through his fingers like smoke. He grabbed Abel's head and unleashed his power, causing Abel to collapse instantly. Sir, you did not have to take him out. You know, CAIN, he could have helped us, but you know what? It's fine. Whatever, he didn't kill him. Dragging him by the collar toward me, CAIN threw his brother against That's a different way of getting your frustrations out, fine. We'll fly out the back of the cathedral and hide in one of the houses. I nodded. Any option he proposed worked for me. Good. He listened closely. The cars turned the other way. The sounds are fading. Unceremoniously grabbing his brother by the leg, CAIN hoisted him onto the roof and then helped me. This man. This man is too much for me. A convoy of trucks filled with traps and steel military hedgehogs rumbled along the bumpy road, moving farther from the base. Where are they going with this kind of setup? Did something happen? Rummaging through my backpack, I pulled out my radio, but it wasn't working. The battery must have died in the cold. Now I can't eavesdrop on what's happening. So what's all this about? I don't know, but when but we need to follow them. Donovan has been preparing her soldiers for a long time. It looks like it's time to deploy them. What is she planning if capturing Abel and me is no longer a priority? "3 days later, we're still here." It was silent in the massive room of an abandoned hospital. Sitting by tall, grimy windows, I watched the rift where the soldiers had gathered. It opened shortly before we left Oxford. Donovan had surrounded the rift's entire perimeter with traps. The soldiers were slowly clearing the area, moving closer to the entrance. It's obvious she wants to get inside, but why? What's driving her? How important is the information she has? I can't go to Rotkov without knowing the details. Besides, the city is now a huge hotspot. Even with CAIN getting there, it won't be easy. A few abominations flew out off the rift and were immediately gunned down by sentries in a hastily built watchtower. After following the vehicle for several days, we had settled in a spot where we could quietly observe what was happening. Occasionally, patrols combed the streets, but avoiding them wasn't difficult. Sitting on a filthy cot in the middle of the room, Abel shifted. The chains binding his limbs clinked. "I'm sorry, I can't. CAIN is a menace." He said, "Fine, you're surviving because my girl said so, but you're not gonna be comfortable." I'm so sorry. It's too much for me. His face literally says it all. "I'm sorry. Because of him, CAIN won't come down from the roof. I wonder if he really feels sick around him or if he just doesn't want to see him." CAIN has been monitoring troop movements at the rift for days now. "I'm sorry. He feels so disgusted by this man," in air quotes, "that he's fine with leaving us alone with him, so he doesn't think he's a threat or anything. He just doesn't want to see him." Yeah, okay. He said immortals don't need to sleep the way we do, but I think fatigue is catching up with him. Lost in thought, I silently watched Abel. He looked away without reacting. According to Noah, on the day we went to the estate, Donovan had been in the lab since that morning. She wanted to finish the project while there was still enough electricity. Was she afraid she wouldn't wake Abel in time? That would explain why CAIN felt sick. His brother must have been regaining consciousness then. Oh, so they are still connected then. I thought after he supposedly died, his connection to his brother shattered. But apparently this man just fell unconscious, like in a coma, because he literally drained him of his entire energy, perhaps, because we haven't seen Abel use his powers yet. He has just been flying in and out. So maybe he drained this man too much, too fast, and that's why it was too much fatigue on his body and he collapsed, but he just fell unconscious. He didn't die. So when he woke up, his subconsciousness like reawakened or something, and CAIN started to feel it. So they're still connected. Oh, that would suck. Turning to Abel, I considered trying to question him again. He had ignored me before, but he couldn't stay silent forever. I have to try again. I'll start by asking, why did you come to my room? So it really was yours? Not exactly. There was a young female demon who lived there. Her name was Ada. Saying her name, I watched for the immortal's reaction, but his expression remained unchanged. So, why did the room seem familiar to you? Aside from CAIN's feelings, I also have someone else's faint memories and emotions, a woman's. One memory was about the room and some thin books with pictures. Y'all, I would feel some type of way about that. So this man knows about his feelings for us. Oh no. Oh god. And seeing the animosity, like just imagine that this man slowly develops feelings for us because he can't actually separate his own feelings from CAIN's. What did Donovan do to Ada for her memories to be transferred to Abel? How and where did you wake up? Why should I answer humans' questions? You saw it yourself, can't trust me. And just because he trusts you doesn't mean that he has to trust you. Besides, we see that their relationship is not the best one. You can stay silent, but then I won't stop him if he tries to get rid of you again. Period. Don't test me. You know that he trusts me. If I tell him to get rid of you, he will. He was silent. Then with a slight smirk, he said in an even voice, the eyebrow. I woke up on a blood-stained bed in a strange room with a sharp, unpleasant smell. My body had changed. I wore scars and I looked older. That means I spent a long time on Earth. Do you remember anything about yourself? Sighing, Abel looked at me with little interest. Isn't it obvious that I don't? No, it's not. It feels like I was asleep for a very, very, very long time. Occasionally there were fleeting flashes of emotions, feelings, events, but everything was distant and blurry. Do you remember anything else about me? And the cathedral you mentioned, the dungeon? Abel didn't answer. Turning away, he continued staring blankly out the window. Yeah, that seems to run in the family. She's so fucking pissed. But honestly, that's exactly what CAIN did when we tried to ask him about what our connection was. Around midday, I pulled out the last can of food I had managed to find there. Placing it on a small flower pot stand, I put the metal lighter underneath and waited for the soup to warm up. Of course, I can boil water this way, but warm food feels nicer to eat. Smelling the appetizing aroma, Abel turned toward me. Have you eaten anything since waking up? He shrugged. No. If I share my food, maybe I can get him to talk. Maybe I'll learn something about CAIN or their relationship. Share. Is the heart for Abel or is the heart for CAIN? Because if I play with the brother note, y'all. After drinking part of the soup, I placed the can next to Abel and stepped back. Eat. Oh, he's literally like my hands are tied. He clinged to... I hate it. I hate it so much that I'm capable to read them too. I had completely forgotten about them. Moving closer, I hesitated before picking up the can. Sitting down on the bed, I awkwardly lifted it to Abel's mouth. Raising an eyebrow, he pulled back as far as he could. How else am I supposed to feed you? Do you have any suggestions? Sighing, Abel opened his mouth, avoiding my gaze. After giving him a sip, I leaned back. What is your relationship with CAIN? What connects you? Oh, I thought he was capable to see it. He wasn't capable to sniff it either. I thought you figured it all out a long time ago. You've seen part of his memory. I'm sorry, I love the circumstances here. This was such a great revelation that this is his brother. I lifted the can a second time. After taking a sip, he spoke again. CAIN is immortal. He would never fall in love with a human. He belongs with his own kind. Says you right now. After he took your powers, you see him as an equal. You see him as worthy. Nah, you need to choke, Abel. And do you decide that for him? You're deluding yourself. Am I? Apparently after living on Earth, he picks up some bad habits. Oh, the audacity. My brother's always been drawn to things that are broken, fleeting, and painful. The audacity. He was the one that broke his brother mostly in the first place because he was actually hanging on to his brother. Because deep down, he always assumed that his mother did never love him and never cared about him. So he was literally holding on to his brother. Like, he was hoping that at least he, kind of like he would compensate for the lost love of his mother. And when he found out that this man didn't want him around either, it broke something inside of him. And now he has the audacity to actually call us broken. You should know his worth. The audacity! So in your eyes, we're not worthy of your brother. No, honestly. Can I smack him? Is that an option? And what makes you think you're better than us? And not the same. It's the fact we're still actually feeding him. I would have smacked him. The audacity. I know my worth too. Strength, knowledge, history, origin, eternal life. You're right. I know, there's no point in arguing about it. The audacity! But it was a human who brought you back to life. Immortals couldn't. Abel took the last sip, putting the can aside. I stood up. Do you know what happened to me? You mentioned someone named Donovan. Nothing besides that. If you want to find out what was done to you, help us. Us? And which one of you is doing all the work? Your way of thinking is outdated. I don't know how long you've been asleep, but you should reconsider your views. Immortals are omnipotent, and humans are no longer so helpless. And by the way, CAIN never mentioned having a brother. Offended, Abel grimaced and turned away. Period. You let him know. You're not that special, bitch. The opinion differ. Abel sees CAIN differently, but you believe that with you, the angel is his true self. Of course he's his true self, because he actually let down his guard with us. He listens to us. He would have murdered him. He stopped and just smacked him, as in knocking him unconscious because we told him so. Digging through my backpack, I pulled out the little things I had gathered from the hospital and laid them out in front of me. I need to be able to fend for myself using my own strength. Next time there won't be hot water at hand. There were several empty perfume samples bottles in the backpack. How could these be useful? I still had a knife and Lester's gun. The bullets had run out back at the estate, and I couldn't do much with just a knife. To control the infected or the abominations, they have to be close. In a situation where they're not inside, my power is useless. Unless I create them myself. I looked at my scar, then I took the lids off the glass sample bottles and made a tiny cut on my skin, squeezing from it a few drops into each vial. Anna told me not to touch the scar. I hope this doesn't backfire on me. In a desperate situation, I can wound an attacker with my knife and then break the vial with the Fantugan over the cut. They will become infected, which means I will be able to control them. Oh my god, okay. Putting everything back in the backpack, I got dressed and went up onto the roof. Abel watched me with an indifferent gaze. Bye, bitch. Oh my god. Look at the background. CAIN sat on the railing watching the soldiers bustling around the rift. The tails of his coat slid at the back from his wings, fluttered gently in the wind. Now you can't even tell if it's sunset or sunrise. Doesn't matter. He sounded melancholy. He didn't turn his head as I leaned against the railing beside him. The soldiers have brought another batch of traps. Donovan really isn't holding back. You don't look well. Maybe you should rest? I'll keep watch. I'm fine. There's no need. I'm not feeling unwell from fatigue, but from the power that's hard to contain. We became silent. Snowflakes danced around us, falling slowly. Oh my god, look how cute this outfit is. Not that's just so cute. Donovan tried to enter the rift, but she failed. There were people inside, cultists, not foreign, just at the beginning of the rift. The moment someone tries to go farther, they unleash spawns. Donovan sent the pastor to negotiate, but it seems he returned empty-handed. The soldiers are still standing around doing nothing. We have no choice but to wait for our next move. Just sit idly by? No, I can't waste time. I think the folder on her desk has all the answers we need. From what I managed to glimpse, she duplicates all project records there. I could ask CAIN to steal it, but I don't want to tell anyone about it until I know what's inside. Reaching Rotkov without casualties is unlikely. That means I need to keep someone close who can sacrifice themselves for me. The squad fits that role perfectly. I am dead. She's like, I'm sacrificing them all. I need to take the folder and convince the squad to flee, but if I approach the rift, the military will immediately detain or restrain me. The only way to return without being seen as an enemy is to give the professor something she wants. I need to see Donovan. What are you planning? I lie for my own benefit. Not me, the book. Donovan has a folder we desperately need. But judging by the last message, only the one who found the spear can retrieve it. These messages are getting oddly specific. So do you just want to go back like nothing happened? Not exactly. Since Abel is her project, what if I return him? I'll say that escaping was necessary, that she would never have let me go otherwise. It doesn't sound very convincing, but we have no other options. Do you think it won't work? We have to try. I'll be nearby. If something goes wrong, give me a sign. Alright. Will you unchain Abel from the bed? Do you want to go right now? CAIN? Yes, I don't see a reason to wait. Leading the shackled Abel, I left the hospital building and walked straight toward the rift. One word from me and your whole plan collapses. Do you really think I'll help you? If you want to learn more about yourself, you'll have to. Quiet now, we're approaching the soldiers. There were guards at the perimeter. I raised my hands, showing I was unarmed, and led the immortal to the entrance. I need to speak with the professor. I have something to return to her. A soldier raised his gun at me and barked. Hands on your head. The moment the guard moved toward me, I noticed Abel twitched, but he quickly masked it with indifference. Hold on, Van. She's not resisting. She's responsible for this. He pointed at a pink mark, a scar near his eye. Take the immortal. Find a proper holding cell for him. I'll deal with the woman. Let the professor decide what to do with them. Ezzy, hey you. Simona, right? Follow me. The guard led me inside. There were more people near the rift than I had seen from the hospital. Everyone was busy in ignoring the gaping red crevice behind us. I'm Sanya. We met in the square, remember? You were looking for Anna. Yes, thanks for helping me back then. It was nothing. She doesn't seem hostile toward me. I wonder why. Stopping near a large truck, Sanya opened the door and motioned for me to enter. I don't get why she left and all of a sudden she's going in again. It was more spacious inside than it seemed from the outside. A small laboratory had set up along the truck bed, while the rest of the space was occupied by a chamber that vaguely resembled a prison cell. Hefty iron bars, a chain bolted to the floor, handcuffs, and a bed with a thick, worn-out mattress. Why is there a cell here? These trucks were equipped at the very beginning of the outbreak. We were called to the epicenter from where it was spreading. While one lab technician was on duty, the other would lock themselves in the cell and sleep. Lock themselves in from whom? The abominations! Yeah. From the infected. Back then, no one knew what they would wake up as. Humans or monsters, but don't worry, this place is clean. How long have you been wearing the same clothes? You were in the outfit back on the square. You'd better change or you might catch something nasty. Here, take this. It's the fact that they're trying to prioritize the damn outfits. It's not gonna make you look prettier, let me tell you. But hold up. There. After changing, I discreetly tucked the pentagon vials and knife into my old clothes folded nearby. After speaking with someone over the radio, the guard turned to me. Taking a pair of handcuffs, she fastened them around my wrists. Donovan has been notified about you. She'll come as soon as she's free. Meanwhile, the professor's deputy will be here soon. She needs something from you, too. I don't remember anyone at Adam having such a tile before. It was appointed very recently. I don't think you'll be surprised. The door opened and a white medical coat appeared in the doorway. Without paying attention to me, she walked past and warily sat down in a chair. Nodding to Sonia, Anna dismissed her, and soon we were left alone. I don't understand why she was trying to be a bitch and run away from those people that were trying to exploit her or play her, and then all of a sudden she went back to them. I sometimes don't understand how CAIN can put up with her sorry ass. Truth be told, only then did I notice a small sign above the desk, Anna's laboratory. Stepping closer, I sat down beside her. Do you have your own lab now? Congratulations on the promotion, I suppose. Yeah. A cold detached gaze. So that you run away from us to bring back an immortal. Yeah. The conversation wasn't flowing. I leaned back in my chair. What's wrong with you? Nothing. I just didn't know what else you'll decide to do just because you think it's necessary. Anna raised an eyebrow and took my arm. I need a few samples of your blood. It won't hurt. Dabbing my inner elbow with alcohol, she sterilized the syringe and inserted the needle under my skin. Thick crimson liquid began to fill the hollow barrel. Anna, do you trust Donovan? It's the fact that she allowed her to actually take some of her blood. I am stingy when it comes to my blood. There's no way in hell you're getting my blood. Why? Are you planning a mutiny? I translated the next passage. Donovan might ruin everything. We need to reach the main rift as soon as possible, or there will be nothing left to save. We, as in the squad. Anna withdrew the syringe and placed a drop of my blood on the glass slide. She then took a sample of the pentagon. Yes, only you all know me well enough to believe me. I can't demand it, but I'm asking. If I give the signal, will you come with us? Anna hesitated. Her hand trembled and a black drop fell onto the red, mixing with it. Damn it. She leaned toward the microscope, observing the reaction. Fascinating. Your blood is different from the blood of the infected. It just turned black like the abominations. I keep on saying we're different. We are built different, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't have time to react to the news before the door opened again. Donovan entered. Anna, I need to take a blood for analysis. Are you done? Don't do something without my approval again. Anna nodded, stepping aside. She walked toward the door. Why did you come back? With an indifferent expression, I recited the pre-prepared lie. I needed to bring back the missing immortal. It was written in the book. To do that, certain conditions had to be met, and I had to take risks. CAIN was right. Donovan didn't look like she believed my story. In response to my statement, she merely smiled and blew an intricate stream of smoke toward the ceiling. Someone also took the spear from the warehouse. Was that part of the conditions too? Yes. She is digging her own grave. If she actually ends up dying at the end of this story, I'm telling you, I see it coming. Like, I can't even say that I blame some of these people because the way she be playing is ridiculous. Like, she doesn't think things through. She immediately goes with her emotions. And if at some point the conditions becomes my assassination, I wonder if the others would listen to you. I think you do everything to make sure that doesn't happen. Exactly. Because if there are rules that only you know, the temptation arises to bend them to your will. You don't trust in my integrity, do you? Donovan set down the folder she had with her, placing it at the edge of the desk. A photograph slipped out. Trust. Picking up the photo, Donovan put it back. I can't look at the picture on the right. Oh, what do you think it is to run a base? You must think I'm a bitch. Different qualities are valued in different places. I know that at Siberia everyone was wary of you. Holding the photo between her fingers, Donovan took a drag. Not very cowardly, avoiding me, given how slow every project moved. No one wanted to report to management and get reprimanded for the pace. Yes, Donovan tried to control everything happening on the base, but she avoided me. Back then, you were the only one I didn't deal with. I voted the translation of the book and passed it off to Lloyd instead, and now, of the entire base, only you survived, sitting here batting your eyes. Was there a reason you specifically didn't want to work on the book? Donovan lowered her gaze and crossed her legs, her jaw clenched nervously, producing a nasty grinding sound. It scared me. It felt like the book, just like Adam, was slowly draining her strength. You know what happened to those who tried to translate it before you? One divine project was enough for me. It destroyed us. Destroyed? In what sense? Oh my god. The light in the laboratory flickered and I flinched. There was no one on that floor but me and the immortal. The wide ward had always unsettled me, but since I started staying there alone at night, heavy thoughts crept in non-stop. The silence around me felt hellish, as did the face of the angel lying before me, dead, yet alive. The unknown was terrifying. The feeling that the mortal was conscious never left me. Swallowing, I pulled a mask over my face and took a scalpel. Touching the previously slit abdomen, I cut away a piece of skin. It felt like the unknown divine being knew what I was doing, as if he understood the desecration of his own flesh. You will pay. You went against this creation. God has cursed you. Under the monotonous hum of fluorescent lights, my mind melted. The thoughts in my head were merely the product of an inflamed imagination, the voice of my own fear. With tweezers, I took the piece of skin and placed the sample into a new serum formula. No reaction, no pus formation. Removing my gloves, I approached the desk and wrote down the sample numbers, the percentage of poison, and the result. Then I froze, feeling an unfamiliar gaze upon me. My back was covered in disgusting, clammy sweat. Again, the moment I look away, he opens his eyes. I know he's watching, right now. What was scarier was that the angel never took action. He just watched endlessly. I didn't know if his eyes were filled with hatred or something else, but the widely open sockets and unblinking glass eyes made my insides slick with fear. At least that was how I imagined them. Holding my breath, I slowly turned around. The angel lay as before. His body hadn't moved a millimeter. His face still resembled a stone sculpture. You know what that is you're feeling, bitch? Guilt. Because you're doing something inhuman. She's actually taking samples of skin, I don't know, hair, samples of eyes. Like, it's inhuman, and it's showing. He's only pretending to be asleep, tormenting me, or have I simply gone mad, like Emma? The light flickered again, an odd occurrence for a base with backup generators. Swallowing, I looked at the desk where Emma's access card lay. The team assembled by my brother for the Adam project was dwelling before my eyes. I couldn't take it, and now she's locked away, cut off from the world. I'll share her fate. And then we'll meet the same end as Irina. She crashed because of him. We're all cursed. The four of us desecrated God's creation, and this fate will come for each of us. Only light and I remain. Sweat beaded on my forehead. My fingers cramped with nerves. With every thought, I pushed myself deeper into agony. I can't do this. I can't. Rushing to the angel's body, I pulled from my pocket a syringe filled with a grainy substance and swallowed hard. Weakness. One shot and it will be over. Kill him and the experiments will stop. I won't have to endure this anymore. Damn. It was actually Abel. I'm asking myself how they got their hands on Abel. How? Where did he come from? Duty. No, I can't. Humanity needs the truth. I must continue. Strength. Lowering my hand, I forced myself to put the syringe away. Pulling my mask tighter, I hid the fear on my trembling lips. A salty tear streaked down my cheeks. Don't think, just ask, step by step for the others. Don't let him break you. Gripping the scalpel with shaking hands, I cut another piece and dropped it into a higher concentration toxin. It was unbearable to even think about controlling another extraterrestrial being. I think you understand my feelings. The horror of the unknown was something I knew well. Without responding to what she had said, I asked, "Why did you flee the base that day?" Donovan took a drag. Because life was done. When the cataclysm began, he had to make too many difficult decisions. You can save everyone, but not everyone understands that. Those who lost loved ones to a general's decision didn't care how rational it was. Questions about him piled up, and the order's influence weakened. After his last order, they would have come for us. It involved the entire coastline. The number of casualties is hard to even imagine, but it would have been even greater if he had sent the army there. First there would have been an investigation, and then the truth about Adam would have come to light. So Light decided to take all the blame, and he ordered me to transport the project and finish it alone. So going back to your question, do I trust you? It doesn't matter. And he sacrificed himself so we could stand here today. I can afford to rely on emotions. You learned how they worked on the Adam project. I brought you the Immortal. The Book of the Apocalypse is also in your hands. Why doubt me? I need to verify what you have said. I need to examine the Immortal. And if he's okay, you'll be released. And now? I said behind bars. I will get one of your acquaintances to keep watch so you don't get bored. Consider it a friendly gesture. Extinguishing her cigarette, Donovan closed the folder and took it from the desk. As she reached the door, I suddenly asked, "Why did you approach the rift?" What? Your book doesn't say anything about that. The professor stepped in closer and nudged me toward the cell. I went inside and sat on the mattress, which was surprisingly soft. Donovan shut the door behind me. Cracking her jaw, she bid a cold farewell and left. The Book of the Apocalypse don't say everything, bitch. A few minutes later, the general entered the truck carrying a bundle. Y'all, I can't. What's going on, Simona? Y'all, I came to hate Donovan more than Dimitri, let me tell you. I can't. Do you mean my escape? Not just that. Why did Donovan suddenly lock you up? I had to do what was described in the book. There was no other way. The general exhaled, opening the bundle. He passed food through the bars. Why do I think that this moment right now is wholesome? Why didn't you inform any of us? It all happened too fast. Donovan didn't tell me either that she was calling me in just to put me on a leash. What does she want from you? She never interfered with the book's translation before. That's fine. I'll be released soon. The professor just needs to verify something. Then why did you run? That was a perfect chance to present a convincing argument for why we all need to leave. Because I translated the next message. Donovan might ruin everything. We need to reach the main rift as soon as possible, or there will be nothing left to save. You realize what you're saying? Even with the support of the base, traveling between cities is difficult. You always reminded me that translating the book is my job. I'm just relying what's written in it. What to do next is for you to decide. Dimitri fell silent. He leaned back in his chair as I continued eating my stale poppy seed bun. He didn't respond. He retreated into his thoughts, seemingly contemplating my words. I curled up on the mattress, exhaustion pulling me into sleep. Good night, everyone. During the night, the radio crackled. Donovan reported that the project had been tested and was ready for transport to the rift. By morning, everyone needed to be in position, and I was ordered to be released from custody. Finding a new place to sleep at night was difficult, so when the bars were open, I was allowed to stay in the truck. In the morning, all the soldiers took their positions, leaving me alone once again. I should go out and see what's going on. You know what? Go out. Go out. You've been in the entire time. Opening the truck door, I came face to face with Donnie. Y'all, she's a plague. She's a fucking plague. She's everywhere you don't want her to be. Already up? Excellent. Grab your things. We're heading to the rift. You do want to see it with your own eyes, don't you? We walked forward across the snow-covered ground, trampled by many boots. With each step, the numbers of soldiers around us thinned. My God. At the very edge of the rift, there was a steep drop, but if one looked closely into the swirling darkness, one could make out the ruins of a church. Moving nearer, I could see bonfires burning red within its shattered windows. The ground leading to the abyss was littered with crosses, each bearing a charred hanging corpse. Ay, 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 ay. Ooh. They was sacrificed. I feigned surprise. But by whom? Cultists. A large truck pulled up behind us, its doors open, and a hospital gurney rolled down the ramp carrying a bound Abel. Wow. This is what we did. Y'all. Do I feel bad for him? I mean, he's a little shit, but am I fine for what we did to him? No, I'm not, because technically we're not better. We exchanged Abel for our freedom, like that we could come back. And we literally just sacrificed him again, putting him up to be experimented on. Why is he here? If the rift truly opens portals, I will bring Project Adam to its final stage. Picking up the folder lying next to Abel, the professor clutched it to her chest. How can I get it if she never lets go? But if there are cultists inside, that means we can't enter yet. Correct. First, we need to eliminate them and the dark creatures. How? We can kill a cultist, but there are too many abominations. I'll see. A figure emerged from the church through the thick smoke of the charred bodies. More cultists followed behind. The rift reeked of agony. Fear began to paralyze me. Everything was becoming more unpredictable by the second. I no longer knew what to do. Apart from Donovan and a few unfamiliar soldiers standing far off, no one was nearby. Where's the general? I don't see the squad. They're busy. Donovan's answer made me even more worried. I looked around and then turned back to find a man standing before us. Pacer agape. That bitch is still alive. His gaze was crazed, frantic, yet oddly joyful. Ugh. Only those who hear the whispers and accept its truth may pass. The deaf will fall beneath its step. The whisper of Baal? The one who created us. God, more precisely Sifa, is dead. Donovan remained silent. She didn't want to get involved in a conversation with the pastor, who seemed less and less like himself with every utterance. You don't say. The creator of forefather, we are his continuation, his countless children. And you are renegades, lost souls, deceived, who have forgotten their home. Sir, did you know that lying is a bad personality trait? Suddenly he lit up, throwing his hands toward the sky. His eyes rolled back so far that a grotesque web of yellow capillaries became visible. We wait and prepare for his return. Enough with this nonsense. I knew your brain would rot as fast. Damn! Look, the abominations do not attack our church. We are thoroughly marked by God. This is not a testament to his greatness. Not if people are still dying under the watch of your God. I decided to observe the dialogue without intervening. Donovan chose the same strategy, so we both remained silent. I was so dead. A blood angel visited me. His long ashen locks fell upon his shoulders, and his majestic gaze seemed weary. He knew everything and shared the truth with me, opening my eyes. I don't care, we're not here for that. We are real. Through you, the bringer, soon I will aid God. I will read the word of you. What? Stepping back, I looked at the professor. Donovan glanced at the cultists and the abominations hovering in the thick smoke. In an even voice, she simply said, Red, as agreed. The pastor's grotesque, veined hands gripped mine. Clasping my hands, he led me into the red haze. The cultists dispersed, clearing a path for us. With each step, we drew closer to the ominous church. I can't What did I say though? Like, she also has that saying, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you. Like, I allow you to fool me once. That's when we left, after she told us that she has no fucking problem with being the bad guy, telling us that we would have to work for her and for her only. And now she decided to trust us again, in air quotes. This was her saying, yeah, get rid of her, because I'm not going to trust you again. Realizing there was no hope of rescue from the soldiers, I tried to be cautious and refrained from resisting. As I took in my surroundings, I calculated my chances of escape. So that Donovan just hand me over. Why? God will reward me. You're an obstacle and I will remove you. He will be pleased. He's completely lost it. I fucking can't. I began to tremble. The soldiers were no longer in sight. The sky had darkened, swallowed by the deep crevice that stretched beneath us. The charred bodies reeked of decay. Ash rained down, only to swirl back up into the air, closing my throat, my nose, my eyes. My patience were thin. Refusing to go any further, I tried to break free, but the paster's grip was too strong. Yo, I literally hate the feeling of hopelessness / helplessness. Every single time something bad happens, it's always like we try to do our best, but we weren't capable to fight him or her. So we're always at someone else's mercy. We can't do shit without needing someone else to help us. Dragging me forward, he twisted his head unnaturally, gazing at me with a chilling stare. This man, oh, wow. Oh my god, he mad. Ooh, what, what demon went into him? We're almost there. The closer we get to the abominations, the more their smoke affects him, making him suffer and lose clarity of thought. The gate led me to a sheer cliff. The dark abyss below was endless. A gust of wind nearly knocked us over, gaining terrifying speed across the vast expanse. I don't even want to imagine how deep this rift goes. I turned around, hidden behind the smoke. The cultists watched us, their crimson eyes gleaming with bloodlust. Suddenly a gape shoved me from behind. I tumbled forward, rolling to the very edge. As I stopped, I felt the ground crumbling beneath me. Reaching for my belt where I had hidden my weapon, I hesitated. I might be able to handle the paster, but what about the rest of them? Do you need a sacrifice? Haven't you had enough? Look at those hanging at the entrance to the rift. It will be more spectacular. Behind me, I heard the sound of wings approaching. Shrouded in darkness, an abomination was flying toward us. I always want to believe that CAIN is about to come in here. Accept the sacrifice. The fuck? Staggering, I looked at the approaching abomination. My vision blurred. The darkness made it impossible to make out its exact shape. Just before the spawn could rip into me, I met its burning gaze. Freeze. With a shriek, it halted midair, its wings flapping, as it should. Turning slightly to keep it in my sight, I glanced at the paster. No, what is happening? Period. Honestly, I love this. When a plan backfires, that's what you get, you motherfucking bitch. The paster watched in stunned horror. Why isn't it attacking you too? Looking back at the spawn, I thought, tear him into pieces. It shot upward, then lunged at the fleeing paster. That's what you intended to do to me, bitch. This is called karma. Pining his head to the ground with a claw, it dug into his skull and ripped off his arm. Help me. No. Standing in the smoke, the figures of the cultists trembled. After seeing the spawn attacking one of their own, they were no longer confident in their own safety. No, honestly, this is power. Sadly, I'm a fan of having dark powers but using them for good, because sadly, since the world is so extremely negative, when you use negative power but you use them for good, you are stronger than when you have the tendency to use good power, as in light magic. Because sadly, Yes, light can brighten up the darkest souls, but one touch of darkness can destroy a pure mind. So darkness is not to mess with. So I love this actually. A wet squelching sound filled the air. The spawn had sunk its teeth into the paster's side, gnawing through his insides. Stepping closer, I felt a strange satisfaction. Do I feel a satisfaction? I would actually look at what's happening right now and then turning away and then trying to stop myself from actually barfing. I couldn't watch it. I'm just saying, from the situation, this is karma. You wanted to sacrifice me just like Donovan, and I'm telling you I have a secret weapon. Abominations cannot hurt me, I can control them. This is karma. Not because of the brutality unfolding before me, but because Gabe was getting what he deserved. Honestly, yeah, he was exactly where he belonged. The euphoria dulled my fear. Approaching the blood-drenched man, I stepped on his misshapen hand. Hearing his wheezing sobs, I smiled. The creature beside me slurped and chewed, tearing into the paster's body, but I barely noticed. Leaning down to his ear while he's still conscious and being eaten alive. This is dark. I hear the whisper always. Every part of me responds to its seething call. It is part of me. With it, I'm never alone. Even if it is the devil himself whispering, if he's always beside me, I do not fear him, I crave him. Oh my god, no, this is dark. Dark. The paster could no longer respond. The only sound from his throat was a garbled gurgling. Losing all interest in him, I turned back. Bye, bitches. Oh, the satisfaction. Why can't we just send someone at Donovan as well? Ahead, the sky came into view. I saw Donovan looking down at me. Realizing I'd managed to escape, she clenched her teeth and turned away. Will you look at that? And then a burst of gunfire shattered the air, blending into a chaotic cacophony. Overheat soaring from the rift, the creatures emerged one by one. They descended upon the soldiers, launching a full-scale assault. Honestly, I love this. Why didn't we get a picture of that? Pressing myself against the wall, I tried to slip away unnoticed. One of the possessed sprinted toward me, but suddenly the guard named Van appeared, firing a shot into the attacker's head before rushing past, never even seeing me. Oh, that's the cutie. Dropping to a crouch, I crawled up and climbed out. The satisfaction. Do not retreat. Humans and creatures alike are nothing but meat. Do not let fear take hold of your mind. If we succeed in executing the plan now at this minor rift, humanity will take its first true step towards salvation. I looked around. The spawn were tearing through the base of soldiers while the cultists finished off the wounded. Their writhing figures dragged bodies toward the pyres and stakes. The soldiers were ill-equipped and unprepared. Realizing that death awaited them, they began retreating en masse, trampling over one another. Seeing the others fall back, Donovan reached for the gurney carrying Abel, preparing to undo the straps and push him into the rift herself. This woman is so disgusting, honestly, because she doesn't have any way to save humanity. She's like, oh, right, fine, then let the abominations, or more like, let the immortals take care of this. You are ridiculous. Donovan is focused on Abel. This is my chance to grab the folder and disappear into the crowd. Pulling out my knife and a vial, I crept toward a soldier, dragging himself away. Slashing his skin, I scattered the glass of vial of black liquid against his wound. The infection spread rapidly. Without waiting for the full transformation, I whispered, "Attack." Barely through the remaining soldiers, he charged at Donovan. Knocking the professor to the ground, he pined her beneath him. The folder dropped into the snow beside her. Reaching Abel, I dusted off the papers and stuffed them beneath the mattress. Then, crouching next to the professor, I yanked the radio from her belt. I love it. I know there was something off about you. Oop. Karma. You betrayed me, I betray you. I ignored her words. The only thing that mattered was getting a message out to the others, hoping they would recognize my voice. Troops at the rift, do not take the street leading to the main hospital. A swarm of abominations has been sighted at the first turn. Gripping the gurney, I wheeled Abel toward the desired building. What is going on? What are we doing? Are we taking Abel with us? The moment I passed through the base's perimeter, Jan ran up to me. Without a word, he grabbed the gurney and helped push it into the alley. Dropping down from the rooftops, CAIN landed beside us. Aww. At the same moment, Dimitri and Greg slipped out from behind the building. A few moments later, Noah appeared. Y'all, the happiness. I was afraid I'd lose my mind coming into this hell all alone. Are the others any up, Ellen? They need to serum so they won't stray far from Donovan. Where is Anna? Has anyone seen her? A few soldiers rushed past us. CAIN peered out, scanning the situation at the rift, and then his expression darkened. I'm afraid she has other plans. She's gonna stay. Not understanding what he meant, the rest of us stepped forward. Anna stood beside Donovan, helping the bloodied woman to her feet. The barely conscious professor leaned on her, fighting off an attacking spawn pylon, and yet dropped into place behind them. Suddenly, Anna lifted her eyes and looked directly at me. Then she turned away, dragging Donovan with her. She's disgusting, y'all. What is wrong with Anna? Y'all, I never thought I would hate Anna more than Dimitri after the BS he pulled, but no, I stand corrected. I hate Anna more than Dimitri. I'm kind of neutral with Dimitri now. He slowly decided to back off of us, and he's listening to us. And he's willing to give us the benefit of the doubt, not immediately use us as a scapegoat. But Anna... Recalling our conversation from earlier, I no longer had any doubt about what it meant. Yeah, she's part of their squad. Anna chose to stay. I'm sorry, are we surprised that bitch is willing to stay? Because she's that much in her head. She's such a crazy scientist that she don't give a damn. She just wants to have the opportunity or the resources at her disposal in order for her to could do what she loves, which is experimenting. And if that means staying with the devil, then she will. And that makes her just as bad as Donovan. But that's fine, because at least the real ones are with us. So let's just see what next episode will be like. I hope you enjoyed this video with me. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.